Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankara Acharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Kesavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaram Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Before we start the class, one or two announcement, of course. Standard, please mark your attendance in the chat box. That is the first request. Second thing is, those who are not present in yesterday's Bhagavad as even I was seeing, the problem started because I am conducting the class from a farmhouse where the network is very unstable. So there is a possibility that in between the network may drop. It will come back after a few minutes, few seconds or few minutes. Also, there may be some disruption in your hearing my talk. So we will try to continue as much as possible if there is no major disruption. If you are missing something, because recording is being done, so you can then watch the recording. This is only for today, and next class will be, I'll make sure I go back to my old place. Okay. So with this request, we will start today's class. Attendance marking, please make sure that you mark your attendance because I see that it is many people are missing and I don't seem to have received any messages. So please mark your attendance so that I know who are all present. Okay, we will start. Satyam idhi syat jagat etadatmanah anantatva hanihi nirgama pramanata hanihi nigama pramanata asatyavaditvam apishituhu syat Naitattrayam sadhuhitam mahatmanam. So this is the 70th shloka in our list we are seeing. So in this portion, from verse 66 to 73, 8 verses, Shankaracharya is discussing two topics which are interconnected. The first topic is Brahman, and it is defined and presented as the absolute reality. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And the second allied topic is this world is mithya or unreal from the standpoint of Brahman. Whenever we say the world is unreal, you should remember the standpoint. The world is unreal from the standpoint of Brahman, absolute reality. Because Brahman is absolutely real. Brahman is Satyam and Jagat is Mithya. So Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is the topic from verse number 66 to 73. And let me repeat, when you say world is unreal, It is not an absolute statement. It is a relative statement. We must remember the standpoint. From the standpoint of Brahman, the world is unreal. From the standpoint of the world is as real as the dream world is in the dream. So what Shankaracharya wants to say further is, world is only a bunch of names, forms and functions. Nama, Rupa, Karma. They don't have their independent existence. Their existence or reality is given by Brahman, which is absolutely real. Just as the waker gives existence and reality to the dream world, similarly, Brahman or super waker gives reality and existence to the world, which is nothing but, as I said, mere names, forms and functions. Brahadaranyaka Upanishad says, Trayam va idam nama rupam karma. This world is consisting only of three factors: name, form and function. So of this, the Brahma Satyam part has been discussed in verse number 66 and 67. From 68 onwards, Shankaracharya is presenting the unreality of the universe, unreality of this prapancha. He said, Jagat Mithya. And this unreality of the world, of this universe, he says is logically is also correct and scripturally also supported. And we started that topic in verse number 68, which we have completed. Asti iti yaha bhakti na tasya mohaha vinirgataha nidritavat prajalpaha. This is what he said. If a person says that the world has got independent existence, he is spiritually ignorant. He is still in spiritual sleep. Just as a dreamer under the spell of sleep, under the spell of Nidra Devi, says the dream world is independently existent. Because in the dream, that's what we all experience, isn't it? So, similarly, a person in spiritual sleep asserts the world is independently existent. The world is real. The moment he wakes up spiritually as a jnani, he will understand that the world is mithya. Then in verse 69, Shankaracharya, borrowing words from a mantra from Mundaka Upanishad, which is belonging to Atharvana Veda, established that the world is Brahman alone and there is no separateness of the superimposed from its foundation, from its basis, which is the truth. So Brahman is the real Vastu and the entire world of name, form and function is a superimposition. This was what he said in the previous sloka, 69th sloka. Now, in this 70th sloka, Shankaracharya takes up a supposition argument, which is a very, very natural process in debates. Even as I said, in courts and all that, when lawyers argue, they are not only to present or place before the judges the strength of their own case, but good lawyers will also present before the court a supposition argument. Suppose what the opposition says is correct, then what will be the consequences? And that is exactly what Adi Shankara is doing here. He says, Yadi etat jagat satyam syat. If this world is taken to be real, then there are three doshas, three defects, three drawbacks will come, he says. If the world is taken to be real, there will be three consequences which will be unpalatable to almost everyone and even to the staunch philosophers belonging to non-Advaita school, who also swear by the Vedas. And we discussed the first consequence in the last class. He said that if the world were to be taken as real, the first casualty will be Atmanaha Anantatva Hanihi. The limitlessness of Brahman or Atma, which Upanishad after Upanishad declares, will be falsified. Because on the one hand, if Brahman is real, and then the world is also taken to be real, then each will be limiting the other. And therefore, both Brahman and the world will suffer from space-wise, time-wise, and object-wise limitations. And Brahman, which has been claimed as Anantam in the Upanishad, will be subject to Deshakala Vastu Paricheda. And therefore, you will not be able to define Brahman as Anantam, limitless. The Anantatvam of Brahman, as revealed by the Vedic statement, can be established only by taking the world as unreal and Brahman as the only real entity. And if the world is taken as unreal, Advaitam will be safe. Because unreal cannot be counted as real. Just like, we have, suppose there are few 1,000 rupee notes, let us say. There are real 1,000 rupee notes and there are fake 1,000 rupee notes. Genuine 1,000 rupee notes and fake 1,000 rupee notes. Now the fake 1,000 rupee notes, even though they appear to be like the real 1,000 rupee notes, you cannot take them to be real. You cannot take them to be genuine. So even though the world is there, you are experiencing the world and all, if you take it as unreal, it cannot be counted as real. And so Brahman Advaitam will be safe. So if no Satyatvam is given to the world, Advaitam will be safe. Brahman will be Advaitam if the world is understood as unreal. If you take it as real, then you are entering Dvaitam, which will be falsifying the Upanishad messages. So this is drawback 1. Drawback number 1. What is the second drawback? It is actually an extension of the first one. He says, Nigama Apramanata, invalidity of the Vedas. So if Brahman becomes limited by the world, the Vedic statement will be falsified. The word Anantam will be falsified. That means Veda itself will become an invalid source of knowledge, an unreliable source of knowledge. It will lose its Pramanam status. Pramanam means a valid source of knowledge. Veda will no more be a valid source of knowledge, because the statement Brahman is Anantam will get invalidated. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that Anantam will get invalidated. So because one word in the Upanishad gets invalidated, it will throw a doubt on the validity of the entire Upanishad. So he says, Nigama Apramanata, Vedic invalidity will be the second drawback. And this also cannot be accepted by any school of philosophy, because all schools of philosophy like Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Purvamimamsa, including Visishtadvaitam and Dvaitam, even though all of them are dualistic schools, they all accept Veda as Pramana, a valid source of knowledge. So everybody will be in trouble, because The valid Veda Pramanam on which you are basing your entire philosophy, that very Veda Pramanam will get negated or get invalidated. Here Nigamaha means Veda. Apramanata means will lose its validity as a means of knowledge. It will become invalid, will lose its pramana status. This is dosha number 2, defect number 2. So the first dosha is Brahman or God will become mortal, become limited. Second drawback is Veda will become invalid. Then what is the third dosha or defect? Asatyavaditvam api ishituhu syat. Again, this is an extension of the second portion. Suppose you accept the invalidity of the Veda, then what will be the problem? All the schools of philosophy, as I just mentioned, including ours, Advaitam, have got great respect for Veda as an infallible source of knowledge. Infallible means never failing, never becoming wrong. Apaurusheya adushta pramana. All other pramanams may go wrong, but Veda pramanam can never go wrong. So if we take the world as real, our understanding of the Veda pramanam may go wrong. We have to be very careful in understanding this statement. We may wrongly understand the Veda pramanam because of our limitation. And that wrong understanding, we may also correct it later. But Veda is nirdushta pramanam, invaluable source of knowledge. And it is accepted by all of them because they all, including us, believe that Veda is given by Bhagavan himself. Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita. Even Shweta Shvatara Upanishad says, Yo Brahmanam vidadati purvam, Yo vai vedamscha prahinoti tasmai, taham tahadevam atma buddhi prakasham, mumukshur vai sharanamaham prabhadye. Yo Brahmanam vidadati purvam. Along with the creation, Bhagavan has given the Veda to help guide the humanity, just like the manufacturers of gadgets give a manual for installation and troubleshooting to help the customers to use their product properly. So Bhagavan has given this human birth, which is a very, very rare occurrence in the creation. Very invaluable jiva. So Bhagavan has given a manual also for right living in the form of Veda. So Veda is the words of Bhagavan. And if Veda is invalidated or falsified, that means what? Bhagavan's words are falsified. Bhagavan's words are wrong. Which will mean what? Bhagavan is misguiding the humanity, uttering falsehood. Grossly presented, Bhagavan becomes a liar. There will be no difference between Bhagavan and today's many of the political leaders. So Shankaracharya says, Ishituhu asatyavaditvam. Asatyavadi means a liar who utters falsehood to mislead others and to gain personal benefit, which of course everybody does all the time, all human beings does. They do. So if Bhagavan also falls in that category, how can we rely upon Bhagavan for moksha? Therefore, Bhagavan who all philosophers accept as the author of the Veda, that Bhagavan will become a liar. So this is the third dosha. So what are the three defects? Three doshas if we accept the world as real. Number one, Brahman will be limited. Number two, Veda will become invalid. Number three, Bhagavan will become a liar. And Shankaracharya says, if you take the world as real, may you be responsible by remembering these consequences. If you make such irresponsible statements, the responsible traditional acharyas cannot accept that. Therefore, he says, Na etatrayam sadhu hitam mahatmana. Etatrayam, all these three defects or drawbacks, na sadhu, not appropriate, not acceptable, and na hitam, not favorable, not in the interest of Mahatmanam, for great people, for noble people, not in the interest of humanity also. Because if you take the world as real, there is no question of moksha. You can't rely upon the words of Veda, Upanishad for moksha. All karma yoga, jnana yoga and all will come under doubtful category. Because Advaitam alone will lead to moksha. Now, many people take moksha as after death you go to Vaikuntha as moksha and all. We have already seen few times. Why going to even Swarga Loka is not moksha, as Bhagavan Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita. Chine punye marte lokam vishanti, he says. So once the punya because of which the huge punya because of which you go to Swarga Loka, once that punyam is exhausted, you come back to the this loka, bhuloka. Therefore, Dvaitam will only create samsara. And samsara leads to fear. There is a famous statement in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Vitiyat vai bhayam bhavati. An unreal duality will cause fear. That's why, even when we are seeing frightening, scary movies like Dracula, etc. These days I have found with youngsters, they like to watch all these ghost films and all, They enjoy those movies because they know that it's all unreal. It becomes entertainment. Similarly, once you understand the mithyatvam of the universe, then your living becomes an entertainment. Moksha then becomes a distinct possibility. But if you take the world as real, just imagine you are watching a Dracula film and it is real. Upanishad says, Bhayam bhavati. Life will be continuous anxiety. That we are experiencing continuous anxiety is because of this mistake. Because of our mistaken notion that the world is real. And for Mahatmanam, for those great acharyas of tradition, for the great rishis, etatrayam, these threefold defects na sadhu. It is neither proper nor hitam, nor it is beneficial to any human, especially to the spiritual seekers. Therefore, use Dvaitam as a means. Wonderful. Enjoy. Get entertained by what is going around in the world, just like you watch a movie. All kinds of emotions are there. Navarasas are there in the movie. Enjoy them. Like that, the world is also full of navarasas. Enjoy them. Even in Karma Yoga, you use Dvaitam, no problem. See Bhagavan or the Lord as separate from us. And then do Ishwararpanam, offer all our actions to the Lord. In Upasana Yoga, use Dvaitam. But Dvaita Bhakti is very valid. It is prescribed in the Shastra. Only when we accept Dvaita Bhakti, we will accept everything that is said in the Vedas. But Dvaita Bhakti is acceptable only as a means. The end should be, Anta should be, Veda Anta should be Advaita Jnanam alone. Shantam Shivam Advaitam is the declaration of Mandukya Karika, Mandukya Upanishad. Therefore, the bottom line of the sloka is understand the world as mithya. Continuing 71st sloka. Ishvaro vastu tattvajnah na chaham teshvavastitah na cha matstani bhutani ityevame vivyachik kripat. The Anvaya is Ishvara vastu tattvajnah aham teshu na avastitah cha bhutani na matstani iti evam eva vachi kripat. Kripat. Tongue twisting word. Ishvara, the Lord. Vastu tattvajnah, one who knows the truth of Brahman. Aham, I. Teshu, in them. Na avastitah, am not. Cha, and. Bhutani, all beings. Na matstani, are not in me. Iti evam, thus. Eva alone. Vachi kripat, declare. The Lord who knows the truth of Brahman declared, I am not in them, no beings are in me. Ishvara is not someone who has ignorance, he knows the nature of reality. So here, Shankaracharya says, Bhagavan gave out the Vedas to the humanity so that they will make use of the Vedic teaching, not only to prosper, but also attain moksha while living itself. They can attain Jivan Mukti. And this was Bhagavan's intention arising out of compassion. But what happened? After some time, towards the end of Dwapara Yuga, Veda was forgotten because materialism increased, greed increased, jealousy increased. The materialistic society forgot the Vedic teachings. Even many theological systems, in the name of bhakti, they promote Dvaitam. Even though Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Shaktism are all great theological systems, even they ignore Advaitam. All those theological systems provide Dvaita Bhakti, which never concludes in Advaita Jnana. Therefore, there is a tendency of humanity to forget Advaitam. And Bhagavan therefore takes avataram or incarnation and revives the Vedic teaching. In Mahabharatam, we find Bhagavan reviving the Vedic teaching of Advaitam through Bhagavad Gita teaching to Arjuna. He says in the 4th chapter to Arjuna, I am not giving a new teaching, Arjuna. I am only reviving what is already there. I am teaching Vedic Advaitam. So, evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratana hai bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. Shankaracharya says in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna makes it very clear that this world is mithya, unreal. And how does he reveal that? He reveals this fact indirectly in the 9th chapter, in verses number 4 and 5. And this verse in Vivekachudamani, Shankaracharya has borrowed words of Krishna from those slokas and establishes that even Bhagavan Krishna has said that the world is unreal. What are those two verses? 9th chapter, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina matstani sarva bhutani chaham teshvavastitah nacha matstani bhutani pashyame yogamaishwaram bhuta bhrinnacha bhutastah amatma bhuta bhavanah. So these are four verses number 4 and 5 of the 9th chapter. So in the 4th verse, first line, Bhagavan Krishna says, Maya tatam idam jagate. All these things and beings in this jagat, in short, the pluralistic world is pervaded by me. Maya tatam idam jagat, pervaded by me. Then in the second line he says, Matstani sarva bhutani. Matstani means located in me. What it means? The whole universe of things and beings are located in me. What does that mean? I am supporting the whole world in me. Then he says, Na chaham teshva vastitaha. But I am not located in the pluralistic world. See, carefully understand, these are all very, very controversial slokas of Bhagavad Gita. And unless you understand these slokas, properly understand these slokas, you will never ever be able to appreciate Advaita. 4 slokas of Advaita philosophy. So he says, pluralistic world is located in me, but I am not located in the pluralistic world. I support the world. World does not support me. This statement is understandable. Like saying, the water is in the pot, but pot is not in the water. I support the world does not support me. And by this statement, we will conclude there are 2 things. Bhagavan and the world, Dvaitam. Bhagavan is the support and the world is supported. Bhagavan supports the existence of the world and not vice versa. Like, for the table and this laptop which I am using, the table is supporting the laptop, but the laptop does not support the table. So 2 things are there, supported and supported. We land in Dvaitam. Therefore, Krishna, after having said this, in the sloka number 4, in the 5th sloka, immediately hastens to add, in the first line, Nachamatstani Bhutani. Earlier he said, Matstani Bhutani. Now he says, Nachamatstani Bhutani. Really speaking, the world is not located in me. Well, what is this? Verse 4, you say, world is located in me. And in the 5th verse, you say, world is not located in me. How do you resolve this contradiction, reconcile these 2 contradictory statements? If the world is in Bhagavan, he cannot say world is not in Bhagavan. And if the world is not in Bhagavan, he cannot say world is in Bhagavan. But he says both here. It's worse than some of the politicians who talk, who give all these promises. Rather. They will say whatever is convenient whenever it is convenient. Unscrupulously and shamelessly contradicting himself. And that too not, in different chapters. Very same chapter, two slokas, one after the other, is contradicting. One could even question Bhagavan's sanity. But we as mumukshus, spiritual seekers, know that Bhagavan cannot be insane. Therefore, what we have to do? We have to think. We have to do mananam. What is seemingly contradictory, we need to interpret that. And that is where Shraddha plays a role. Shraddha is not blind belief. Shraddha means faith in Bhagavan. Bhagavan can never say anything wrong. Scriptures can never say anything contradictory. If something appears to be contradictory to us, we need to put in more efforts to understand, to resolve that contradiction. Because if the scriptures, if Bhagavad Gita had really contained such a contradictory statement which cannot be explained, Shankaracharya would not have written a detailed bhashyam on Bhagavad Gita. Shankaracharya would have been the first one to reject Bhagavad Gita as a valid source of knowledge. Therefore, Shraddha, which we keep talking about in Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, that Shraddha plays a role. What is the Shraddha? We know that Bhagavan Krishna will not contradict himself. We have faith that Bhagavan will not say something which does not make sense. Therefore, we have to think deeply to understand the two seemingly contradicting statements. And when we analyze both the statements, how do we analyze? What is the source? We have got only one source, Bhashyam, commentaries, Tika, Tippani, all those things. Acharya after Acharya in the Parampara has given us such wealth of knowledge, such wealth of interpretation. We just have to fall back upon that to understand. Starting from Shankara Bhashyam. And when we study the Bhashyam, we find that this contradiction can be resolved in only one way. The world is just an appearance, not a reality. It is experientially available as though located in Bhagavan. On inquiry, the world will turn out to be mithya, which means as good as non-existent. That is how you can reconcile these two statements. Just as the dream world is located in us, that is our experience during dream. In dream, the dream world is located in me. I am giving reality to the dream world. There is nothing external which is there. All the dream world exists in me. And on waking up, what I find the dream world is not located in me. Even though I was the author, I felt when I was sleeping, the whole dream world was located in me. When I woke up, I find that the dream world was a mithya. I had given existence to the dream world. In the same way, this world is also mithya, not satyam. We are not questioning the experienceability of the world. We accept that the world is experienceable. But we don't accept the reality of the world. We come to understand that the world is experientially available like a dream world is for a dreamer. But really speaking, on spiritual awakening, the seeming reality of the world disappears. It means the world is seemingly there, but really not there. The world is seemingly there, experientially available. It has got ETU also. What is ETU? Should recall. I think last class or class before we discussed experienceability, transactability, and utility. All these things are there. All those things we accept. Dream world has also got ETU, isn't it? We do transactions in the dream world. All those things we accept, but really on waking up, what happens? As Dakshinamurti Sloka says, Yas Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swahatmaname Vadvayam. When you wake up, you find that there was no dream world. It's all mithya. I am the only reality. Ahameva Advayam. Therefore, world is an appearance of Brahman with different names, forms, and functions. That means world is mithya. If you separate Brahman, the world cannot exist. It's just like, you take clay and the pot or plate, all those things made out of clay. From a pot, if you remove the clay, there won't be any pot. Similarly, from the ornaments, if you remove the gold, no ornaments can exist. If you separate the waker from the dream world won't exist. While watching a movie, if you remove the screen, the movie, the Dracula movie which you are enjoying, it doesn't exist. Therefore, the world seems to exist by borrowing existence from Brahman. And this seeming existence is called Mithya. And Shankaracharya says, this Mithyatvam or seeming existence of the world is revealed by Bhagavan in the Bhagavad Gita. First, Bhagavan revealed it in the Vedas by the word Anantam, Taittiriya Upanishad, and Advaitam in Mandukya Upanishad. Bhagavan revealed it in the Veda. Then in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan as Lord Krishna revealed the same truth, and that is what he is quoting here, or he is borrowing words in this verse. So let us now see the verse. This is what he is saying. Ishwaraha vastu tattvagyaha. Ishwaraha means Bhagavan Krishna says so, indicating that you cannot doubt his knowledge and wisdom because it is Bhagavan. Sarvagya, Sarvavyapi, Sarvashaktiman. He is Vastu Tattvagya. He is the he knows his true nature. He also knows the nature of the world. He is the one who knows the nature of himself and things. Tattvagya, Tattvam Janati iti Tattvagya. He knows what the truth is, what the truth of everything is. Vastunaha Tattvam. That means the truth of the world. What is the truth of the world? That it is untruth. That is the truth of the world. What is the reality of the world? That it is unreal. Then we have to connect the word Ishwara to the second line. Vachi Krupate. Vachi Krupate means presented, declared, or provided this knowledge. Iti evam eva, in this manner, as presented in the Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter. Lord Krishna indirectly presented the unreality of the world. Evam eva, in this manner. Thus, Acharya says both the Shruti and Smriti, Vedas as well as Bhagavad Gita, which is a Smriti Grantha, reveal the unreality of the world. And that is the message of this sloka. Therefore, if you add two adverbs, seemingly and really, then the contradiction can be resolved. So when he says, the world is located in me, you have to add the adverb seemingly. The world is seemingly located in me. And when he says the world is not located in me, you have to add the adverb really. The world is really not located in me. So matstani bhutani and nachamatstani bhutani, you have to interpret or translate them as the world is seemingly located in me, but not really located in me. If you do that, there will be no contradiction. And which establishes that the world is mithya. Seemingly, it is appearing to be real. Actually, really, it is not real. It's just like, like what when we see a magic show. Maya Chalam. Whatever the magician does seemingly appears to be real, but it is not real. We all know that. There, the Advaita Jnanam is there when we see a magic show. But in real life, we forget that Advaita Jnanam. Now, in the next verse, Shankaracharya is going to give the logical pramana. Okay, this one he has said, Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita has said this. Now he gives a logical argument as to why we should take the world as unreal. We will read the verse number 72. Supposition argument. Yadi satyam bhavet vishwam sushupta upalabhyatam yannopalabhyate kinchit ato asat swapnavat brisha swapnavan brisha. But the sandhi is there. Swapnavat brisha. So the Anvaya is Yadi Vishwam Satyam Bhavet Sushuptau Upalabhyata Yatna Kinchit Upalabhyate Ataha Asat Swapnavat Mrisha. That is the Anvaya. Yadi, if Vishwam, the word, Satyam Bhavet, were to be real, Sushuptau, in deep sleep, Upalabhyatam, let it be perceived. Yat, because nakinchit, nothing, upalabhyate, available, ataha, therefore, asat swapnavat, like the unreal dream, mrisha is unreal. So if the world were real, let it be perceived in deep sleep. Because it is not at all available in deep sleep, therefore it is unreal, like the unreal dream. And here, even though he is presenting a logical argument, that argument is also taken from Mandukya Karika. Second chapter called Vaitatya Prakarana, in which there is a very, very important verse. It defines what is meant by reality when we say Brahman is real and world is unreal. Because that is the test, Whenever we use words, first of all, we should be very clear in our mind what are the definition, what is the meaning of that word in our mind, what meaning we are taking. When we say something is real, what do we mean by that? And the Shastra says the test of reality is that There is only one test of reality. What is that? That which exists in all three periods of time, past, present, and future, that is reality. Reality or truth is that which does not have a beginning and does not have an end. That is the definition of reality. So whenever we are actually talking about the reality of anything, what is the test we have to apply? Not the ETU test, not the experienceability, transactability, utility test. That is what we normally tend to do. And we take it as a real, and take it as real. A pot has got experienceability, it has got transactability, it has got utility also. You can pour water and store it. But is the pot the real, or is the clay from which the pot is made is real? Comparatively, the clay is permanent. When the pot is dissolved, pot is broken, pot is destroyed, what remains? Clay remains. When the pot is destroyed, clay is not destroyed. When ornaments are destroyed, the gold is not destroyed. So between the ornaments and gold, gold is reality, ornaments are only, they are getting mithya, appearance. But ornaments have got ETU. Therefore, the reality, definition of reality, test of reality is that which does not have a beginning, does not have an end. Tattva Bodha says, Trikale api tishtati, Satyam. Reality is that which exists in all three periods of time. That means what? Reality is that which transcends time. As I said, the very important words in Mandukya Karika. Adavante chayannaste vartamanepi tatthata vitatai sadrisha santah avitatha iva lakshitah. Adav cha ante cha. If says the world exists only temporarily, appearing briefly and disappearing, like a pot which was not there before its production and which will not be there after destruction. Pot really does not exist because it is temporary, whereas clay was there before the creation of the pot, during the presence of the pot, after the destruction of the pot. So the clay, which is there before, during, and after, Rikale api tishtati, clay is more real than the pot. Pot is only nama rupa of the clay. Vacha rambanam vikaro nama devam mrittika eva satyam. Chandogyo Upanishad. And that idea alone from Chandogyo Upanishad, Gaudapada Acharya borrows in Mandukya Karika. Dream also only temporary exists. It appears to us, appears for us rather, during the Swapna Avastha. Before you go to sleep, the dream is not there. After we wake up, dream is not there. So dream is not available in all three periods of time, that is past, present, and future. Therefore, based on the definition of reality, dream is unreal. It is agamapayi, subject to arrival and departure. And based on this, Shankaracharya makes a vyapti. Vyapti means a generalization. Yat yat agamapayi tat tat mithya. Agamapayitvat swapnavat ghatavat. Whatever is subject to arrival and departure is unreal, like the dream and pot. And this Jagat Prapancha, this universe also is subject to arrival and departure. And that it is subject to arrival and departure, we can prove experientially also. Because experientially, only in Jagrat Avastha or waking state, that this world is available. When I am in sleep, this world is not there. When I am in dream also, I experience only the dream world and not this world. Therefore, the world appears only during waking, like the dream world appears in dream. This world disappears during sleep. So in the dream world appears and this world disappears. And when we wake up, dream world disappears and only this world appears. So like the dream world is subject to arrival and departure, it does not exist in all three periods of time. This world also, the Baker's universe also is subject to arrival and departure. That is our experience. Nobody can challenge that. Scientifically also, this universe is subject to birth and death. Scientists say before Big Bang, it was not there. After some time, they say the whole world, the whole universe will disintegrate also. Shastra also talks about Srishti and Pralayam. Therefore, this entire world does not exist in all three periods of time. Therefore, world is mithya, like a dream, subject to appearance and in waking and disappearance in sleep. Therefore, Acharya says, Yadi Vishwam Satyam Bhave, if the universe were real, like the Atma, like Brahman, Sushuptav, Upalabhyata, it should be experienced in deep sleep state also. But what is our Anubhava? We don't experience the world either in Sushupti or in Swapna. Both Jagrat Prapancha and Swapna Prapancha, along with time and space, are subject to arrival and departure. Whereas the witness consciousness is there all the time. Therefore, yat na upalabhyate kinchit. Yat here means yasmat, since. Na upalabhyate kinchit. This world is not experienced in Sushupti and also in Jagrat Prapancha. Sorry, world is not, is this world is now not experienced in Sushupti and also not experienced in Swapna Prapancha. Ataha asat swapnavat brisha. Ataha means tasmat. Therefore, asat swapnavat brisha. Like the dream is considered as unreal, this world also should be considered as unreal only. It appears real in the waking state, just as the dream world appears real during the dream. Thus, both waking and dream appear real in their respective states, but both of them resolve in deep sleep state. So, both dream and the waking world should be treated equally as unreal only. Then, what is real? We have already seen Brahma Satyam. Brahman alone is real since it is there in all three periods of time as Karanam, the cause. That alone is real. Ataha asat. Other than that, everything is unreal. So in this context, asat swapnavati says asat means unreal. Asat also means non-existent. Here we should take the interpretation as non-existent because we are talking about reality, existence of the world. It is unreal. Krishna says in the Gita, Na sato vidyate bhavah, na bhavo vidyate satah. Atah asapnavat mrisha. Mrisha means mithya. Mithya like what? Asapnavat, like a dream. The mithya means swapnavat, like a dream. We'll stop here to continue in the next. Okay.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all. Was there any disruptions during the talk?
No.
No, Guruji, clear, Guruji.
Was there? Because in the chat box, I see only 7 entries, whereas there are 16 participants. So in case anybody has not put your name on the chat box, please do so before you log out.
Compared to yesterday, today was very good.
Okay. Thank God. Okay.
Namaste, Guruji. Namaste.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Guruji. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Questions? Any questions? Comments? No hands are going up. Then in that case, I will close the session. Okay. Right. Namaste. Hari Om. See you next
Hari
time.
Om. Hari Om, Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.